Let me start the recording, switch screens. And yeah, welcome back everyone to, I believe this is session number 3, if we're including session 0. I just have a couple of announcements. As I've said in the past couple times on Ophion and Arcadia, I will be at PAX West and hopefully running an in real life game of Star Trek Adventures at the convention. If you are interested in that sort of thing, or hell, if you just really want to meet me in person for whatever reason, I would say watch Twitter around the first week of September, and I will be tweeting, what I'm doing. Um, that said, this is sort of advance noticed that for these guys it would be the 28th. Yeah, so actually it's unfortunate because the Adiona will not be able to meet the 28th or the 4th because that's when I'm going. But we still have 2 more sessions after this one before we need to worry about that. The other thing I'd like to announce is I am recruiting for my Wrath and Glory campaign, the Valhallan Crusade. If you are interested in that, I have tweeted an application link. I have posted it in the 40k RPG subreddit. I believe it even is on Roll20. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, go ahead and take a look. If all goes well, we'll have the core PDF by Friday, and the game will likely follow in the following week or the next one. Other than that, I believe we are good for the captain to start us off with our log and get things going.
Captain's Log. Stardate 58110.4. We've rendezvoused with our Frila guide, Iha, and are now underway to the Frila Toth neutral zone. Deep in my gut, this feels very similar to the situation that the Romulans and the Klingons have, but this powder keg is ready to go at a moment's notice. Recently, Frila and Toth vessels have exchanged fire within the neutral zone. The Frila vessel will be a sitting duck unless we can withdraw it from the scene, and I fully intend on getting this ship out of harm's way. My crew has been drilled on their rescue procedures. Time to see if we can survive this crucible.
Very good. So, instead of jumping straight into the action, I did want to give you all kind of a glimpse of where you are. So, came up with this map the other day, and I'll adjust it for the stream here in a second. But you guys are kind of over here in the Frilla Republic. You are 10. Well, I guess you're more like 9 or 6. Yeah, actually 8. 8 light years away from Pandora's Gate. Each of these little boxes is approximately 2 light years. So, warp travel, it takes a little bit, but you literally could get across this entire map with QSD in about 15 minutes. In any case, I would say at this moment you guys are about an hour out before you would arrive at the scene of the crime, as they say. And I did want to give people an opportunity to do any last minute preparations, asking Iha anything about the situation, things of that nature. So yeah, just kind of an open forum. Does anyone have anything?
No, I'm just in sick bay doing my due diligence, going over reports. Everyone's medical.
Okay.
Unless something goes wrong in the engineering deck, nothing.
Okay.
Can Iha explain more about the ship that we're going to meet?
In fact, she can. And I will actually put you guys on the bridge map as soon as I find it. There it is. So, we sort of cut to the bridge where, Alpha Shift is on duty. And Iha is working at one of the consoles and say, putting it on screen now, Captain. And on screen, you see the initial distress call from the OCD, OCEDI. What you see is a disheveled-looking Frila in a damaged, sparking cockpit. And they say, this is Seeker Nefel, N-E-F, or Nephle, of the Frilla Scout OCD. A malfunction in our navigational ray has caused us to enter the neutral zone and stumble upon a Toth scout. We've exchanged fire and managed to knock the Toth vessel offline about the same time they did the same to us. Warp drive is offline, and pretty much we're running on backup power here. Luckily, life support is operational and holding, but we are quite literally dead in the water. Our chief engineer was wounded in the attack along with most of the crew, thus repairs are proceeding at a extremely diminished rate. To make matters worse, the Toth are now claiming we are prisoners of war, and they are insisting that they will take us back to their space for a trial once their ship is repaired. It's typical Toth posturing, but I would rather not have my name attached to an event that could be the spark for an open war. Please, send what help you can as soon as possible. And then the message repeats.
Lovely. How far out until we're in scanner range?
You could do a very long-range scan at this point. It wouldn't get you much, but you could potentially get them on sensors.
I'll try that.
Okay. In that case, this is going to be a reason science from you. The ship is going to be rolling sensor science. And initially, this was going to be a difficulty 4 due to the range and some other things that you may find out. But thanks to advanced sensors, this goes down to a difficulty 3.
Yay, prototype.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, you got the 3 you needed already. Very nice. Let's see if the ship gets you a momentum. Very good. All right, so Merrick, you're looking at the sensor readings, and sure enough, you do confirm the fact that the OCD, the Frila scout ship, is indeed within the neutral zone. Nearby is the Toth scout ship as well, but there's 2 very important things that you're recognizing. The first is that there is a gravimetric eddy nearby both ships that will more than likely prevent a how do I want to say this? It will prevent a good sensor lock. So if you want to transport, you conceivably could beam over, but getting back would probably require transporter enhancers. In addition to that, the OCD is on the edge of transporter range as it is. So if you were on the border of the neutral zone and tried to interact with the ship, you could do it via transporters without needing to cross into the neutral zone. And I would say that's probably what you know, but remember, you can ask additional question as a science officer.
Okay, I informed the captain of the information you just provided, and I'm thinking about the additional question. Unless he has something right off.
Let's see. Unless IHA has the information, tactical capability of the ships that we can detect.
Let's see. Let me find that in my notes. So yeah, IHA does sort of change the view screen to a theoretical, like 3D model of the OCD. And what you're seeing is it's a fairly small craft. It's maybe a little bit bigger than a runabout, really. But it's not like a scale 3 vessel. It is probably on the edge between like scale 2 and 3. She also says crew complement is about 10. They have simple phasers and simple torpedoes. Nothing really major, like, I mean, even the Adiona here will outgun her. It's just a scout ship. It doesn't really have much. Its main, I guess you would call it, asset is its sensor banks, which makes this whole navigational array situation a little bit questionable.
Okay, and for the additional question, I think I'll ask, it's a question for you actually, GM.
Mm-hmm.
We would have to lower our shields to use the transporters. Is that radiation permeating the area? Is it close enough that it would be a danger?
I would say you would be fine transporting. You don't need to worry about like temporary lowering of shields. Your main deflector will handle most of the radiation, and you don't need to turn off the deflector to beam, as far as I know. It's really where the radiation would be a problem is if you were to say go to a intense pocket of radiation, lower your shields, and then just sit inside for a few days.
Okay. So yeah, Captain, the radiation is only dangerous when we get close to these particular eddies. So there's no danger for us to initiate transport.
That's fine.
And I will also hail sickbay and inform them that possible casualties on the way. The Freya ship is nearby.
Very well.
All right. Is the scope clear of any other targets?
Yeah, you're not seeing, at least on your sensor readout there, you're not seeing any other vessels nearby. So it looks like you are actually one of the first on the scene.
But effectively, they're both dead in the water.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's try an active. Once we get close, go ahead and initiate with an active hail to see if we can get some words from him once we arrive. Let's see what else. Out of character, I'm assuming you're gonna have to NPC the second, but I can take the lead on everything if need be.
Well, Morgan did drop in. I don't know if he's.
Oh, is he there?
Yeah, he's
I
here.
exist.
Hey,
Oh, there you go.
there we go. Yeah, we're good.
All right. I have my number 2. All right. Cool.
All right. So, any other questions or bits of RP before you arrive, or shall we get on to it?
As we approach the Toth ship, I'll intensify scans.
Okay. Morgan, it sounded like you might have something. Oh. Well, apparently that something was.
You go away. God damn it.
Apparently that
Give my
something was
number
so
2 back.
powerful it knocked him offline.
Alrighty. Let's see here.
had
I guess I'd just want to get any additional information I could get from EHA versus this and possibly its mission.
Okay.
I had a question.
Sure.
We're in no man's land, or is this actually officially, claimed by someone?
I'll put us back on this map. As you can see where the Adiona token is, you are technically right now within the Frila Republic, and that sort of red line you're seeing between the Toth Empire and the Republic is the neutral zone.
That's the neutral zone as the Frila define it, but the Toth are expansionistic, correct?
Because I was going to suggest if we were near the neutral zone, we just, tow the Frila back on their side and then do stuff. So, see, we're on our side, but if we're already on their side.
I would say that actually was something I forgot to mention. From what you can tell, you are outside of tractor beam range on the border of the neutral zone. You would have to cross into the neutral zone in order to engage tractor, and even then it would require a little bit of adjustment to work, both due to the gravimetric eddy and the ranges at which you would be operating. But it is a potential thing you could try.
Was this neutral zone agreed to by both parties?
This is the latest neutral zone that was agreed on several years ago, yes.
Has there been any new Toth changes in power where they would decide that isn't the case, like a new head of state took over, or as the Klingons would do it, assassinated or dueled?
Not that we're aware of. They've actually been sort of expanding inwards towards the core. They've not exactly pushed our borders, more. Well, I take that back. They've sort of tested our borders now and again, but nothing serious like this.
Who's on sensors? Go ahead and plot the exact location of the OCD at the moment.
Okay. So Merrick would be able to do that, no problem. What are you after in particular, I guess is the question.
Trying to make sure I know exactly what the layout of the situation is. I know it's near the neutral zone, but let's know exactly where it is so that way we can work with some facts.
Ah, I see. In that case, since we're going to be here in a moment anyway, I will put you on this map. And I'll adjust it for the stream in a moment. Basically, what you're looking at here is this will be where you arrive on scene. The Adiona will be on the Frila side, or the Frila side of the neutral zone. The neutral zone begins where that red line is. As you can see, there is the gravimetric eddy, which is affecting sensor locks and etc. There is the Toth ship. It's near the eddy, but it's not in any danger of like falling into it. And then you have the OCD, which is listing in space just like the Toth ship. Now, if it matters, I believe I did the ranges on this properly. You can do transporters out to about 40 or 50, so you're right on the edge of transporter range. However, your tractor beam range is only about 15. So 15's about there-ish. So it's not a, very long distance away that you can tractor at the moment.
Captain, I'll scan the Frila vessel to see what kind of damage it has and inform Commander Havoc that maybe it could be repaired quickly, else perhaps we move into tractor range.
I'm not crossing that line until we have a full accounting. Since we're allied with the Frila, we have to respect their boundaries as well.
Okay, GM, I want to detailed scan of the Frila ship so I get an understanding of the damage and I can pass that information to the engineer.
Okay. So we'll say, just for sake of argument, because this will all just start snowballing, it's probably about this time that you actually do arrive on scene and, make this picture a reality. And your initial scans do enable you to get a positive read on their status. And I'm going to give this, well, you know what, you could use momentum. Why don't you do a reason science, the ship will do sensor science, and we'll make the difficulty a 0. So, free momentum. Wow, you're on fire tonight. All right, so that's already 3 momentum. Ship get you any more? It does not. But hey, you guys have 4 momentum now, whoever's keeping track of that. So, Merrick, you are able to tell that obviously main power is offline. There are secondary systems offline, which there's quite a bit of those. There is extensive damage to the power relay network of the ship. There is, what else? The main computer is offline from what you're able to tell. And if it matters, you're only reading 2 active life signs. So out of the 10 that should be there, either they are unconscious, injured, dead, or any combination thereof.
Okay. Captain, the ship is severely crippled. All power, all systems are basically offline. There are only 2 survivors. I suggest we proceed with a rescue mission.
Tell me what we can about the Thoth ship.
Start that next.
All right, so you give the Toth ship a good scan, and pretty much it lines up with what IHA briefed you on in the holodeck. It has a extensive disruptor array throughout the vessel. It has spatial torpedoes. It is very adept at maneuverability. However, being the size it does have limited shielding and limited defensive capability. I would say you're not detecting any life signs, but you would have known, and this is sort of a reminder, that the Toth ships have a sensor dampening hull, and you could probably beam in, but again, beaming out would require some form of transporter enhancer. And that is deliberately by design, so that's easy for them to board, but not be boarded.
I understand. But their systems are also offline at this moment.
Yes, you're reading that much the same. Their main power is offline. Their secondary systems, like shields and weapons, appear to be offline. They're not going to tell you the status of their computer because, actually testing the computer would require an active connection. But you're also not able to tell how many life signs are on board.
I ask IHA, the complement of this ship is?
Of the Toth ship, could be anywhere between 20 and 30. They like to pack a lot of warriors into one space so that they can board away.
Okay. Captain, the Toth ship is also disabled, but perhaps not as severely. Sensors have a little bit more difficulty getting through their hull, which makes risk of transport also a little bit problematic, and I explained what you just explained.
All right, series of commands here. Ops, prepare the ship for silent running as slow as we can go. Advise the doctor to get his mobile emitter ready. He may be going to the other ship here in a moment. Prep one of the shuttles with pattern enhancers just in case. I want to make sure people can get back by any means necessary.
All right. So, almost as if, timing has a sort of cosmic humor, you are at this point getting a hail from the OCD.
On screen.
Okay. So on screen appears Secret Nefel. You would recognize her from the distress call, and she's looking a little bit better, but she just kind of looks over at you all and says, Federation ship, I did not know you were in the area. I assume that you were sent here as our backup?
This is Captain Williams of the Adiona. What's your current status?
Not much has changed from our distress call, if you were able to get a hold of that. Main power is offline, the gravitic drives are offline, and it's only myself and, let me find it in my notes, hold on. Apprentice Nisa, my younger sister. Only the two of us are currently operational and conscious. Two are dead, two are in critical state, and the remaining four are stable but unconscious, at least what we're able to tell with our limited knowledge. We really could use some help here, whatever you can provide. But there is a bit of a problem. The Toth are claiming us as prisoners of war, and they very much want to take both us and our ship back to their superiors.
Okay, out of character, did they say why their ship was on that side of the line in their message?
They said that there was a malfunction in their navigational array.
Okay. Alrighty, let's see here. You're not underneath active aggression with the Toth at the moment, are you?
Not that I'm aware of, sir, no.
They're both across the neutral zone, right?
Correct.
Yeah, but if they cross first, they might have a claim on aggression and want to finish off anybody that comes in here. Trying to play this close to the chest. Alrighty, set up a hail, all frequencies.
And Zava does set that up and says, well, actually, sir, we're also getting a hail from the Toth ship. Should I make it a three-way, or do...
No, notify the OCD. We'll be back in contact with them when we're talking. Let her know we're talking to the Toth.
Understood. So, view screen shifts, and this time, you see the interior of a Toth ship. So, thanks to Iha's earlier briefing on the holodeck, you're not entirely surprised to see a rather disgruntled-looking Toth appear on the view screen. Their eyes sort of dart this way and that as if trying to size you up. And they say, I am Commander Tothspool of the Toth Empire. If your attempt is to aid the Frila vessel, then I suggest you turn your little Starfleet toy around and leave now. All aboard the OCD are now prisoners of the Toth Empire. Any attempts to aid them, including the mere act of the mere act of entering the neutral zone, will be considered an act of war. This is your one and only warning. And then they cut comms.
Lovely.
Well, I'm going to turn to the captain and spark back to life back again and ask and suggest maybe there's a way, if we're insistent on rendering assistant, maybe there's a way that we could blame their sensors.
Well, I mean, yeah, if we can always go forward with the truth. They did have a navigational problem. Let's see here. I mean, but I think we're both thinking the same thing.
Am I picking up any sensor emissions from the Toth vessel?
You mean like scanning of the Adiona and stuff like that?
Yeah, are they aware of their surroundings, or they just? I mean, they hailed us, so it seems like they're aware of our presence.
Yeah, I would say they're not actively scanning you, but you have realized the fact that they hailed you probably means that they have some way of telling you're there.
Yeah, we weren't exactly hiding when we first showed up. Otherwise, we would have approached a lot slower. But alrighty. Let's see. Secure the ship from silent running. They know we're here. But do not bring up the other systems. Just go to ready status. I'm going to have her open up all hails on an open channel. So I'm going to broadcast.
Okay, so Zava says, channel open, sir.
Any station, this is the USS Adiona, Captain Williams speaking. The situation currently in the neutral zone is mainly due to a navigational error on the Frila ship that has crossed the line. If you do intend on taking people back for a navigational error, that too could spark another conflict. I take it you guys are not actively at war with each other. At least let us inspect the personnel that are still on board the ship. We don't have to go anywhere, but at least make us confirm what we've seen. If what you say is true and they crossed over here in a hostile manner, by all means, we will back off. But if this did come over in a navigational error, you could spark another war just by you having the ship over here and not rendering assistance. So if you'd like, please allow us to approach the other ship so that way we could at least confirm that what you say is true. And cut the conflict.
Roll me a... Let's do presence plus command. Seems the most apt here. I was initially going to make this a difficulty 3, but since I like what you said, I'm going to reduce it to a difficulty 2.
Break out the old character sheet here. Didn't have this thing opened all the way. Let's see here. Did you say daring or presence command?
Presence command.
I'm going to use a momentum too.
Okay.
Let's see here. Would you give me the focus for Starfleet Protocol?
Sure. Why not? Nice. Nice. So you're up to 5 momentum.
Alrighty.
Excuse me. So there's a period of silence where you're starting to really think, like, all right, the Toth aren't going to answer. But sure enough, Zava says they are actually replying to us, sir. I'll put it on screen.
Alrighty.
And once again, you see Commander Tosspool, and they say, you claim that this navigational error is the cause of the OCD being in the neutral zone. What proof of this do you have?
The proof is on the ship. We're merely asking for the opportunity to confirm.
We will allow 5 individuals, up to 5 individuals, to beam to the OCD to confirm the situation. However, any attempts to beam away any Frila individuals will again be considered an act of war.
Alright. If I may make a concession, allow my ship to approach to within... out of character. What are the units that we're using here?
I mean, I probably could give you, like, actual meters, but just whatever the, like, if you use the ruler, it should show you just basic units. If you're trying to get in tractor range, you got to be within 15 units. If you want to beam over,
I
it's
got
40
the
to 50.
ranges. I'm just trying to make sure that my speaking is correct.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry if I moved that thing.
No, that's fine.
All right. Allow my ship to close a little bit closer, say half the distance we are now. If we use transporters, I'd prefer to use it in an emergency considering the gravitational eddy. I'd like to send over a shuttle pod if possible.
Tothspool just kind of looks at you, says, "You are permitted to transport only. No shuttles, nor no ships are permitted to cross into the neutral zone. Any that do will be considered enemies of the Toth Empire."
Captain Williams, this is Galen. Do you have a moment?
One moment, if you please, sir. Mute the comms.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Do the Toth need any medical assistance?
Yeah, I guess we could do that. But, yeah, I guess we have enough personnel. Unmute the comms.
Okay.
Sir, if I may inquire, what is the status of the personnel on your ship? There was a fight going both ways, and we show that we are both immobile at the moment. Do you require any assistance? We'd be happy to assist you if possible.
We require no assistance from outsiders such as Starfleet.
So noted. We'll proceed according to plan with the beam over then. We'll keep you advised as soon as we have more information for you.
Tothspool just kind of snorts and once again cuts communications.
Helm, put us on the edge of the neutral zone. Do not cross in.
Aye, aye, sir.
Engineering, we're going to have to do a long distance transport. Get the systems as tight as you can. With this Eddy out here, I don't want to take any chances with a mishap.
No? Did we lose Havoc?
Oh, sorry, my actual sound just cut off for a few seconds. I was looking for a way to fix that.
Ah.
What was what you need? What'd you need exactly?
Tune the transporter beam as best as you can. We're going to have to beam from here, and with the Eddy, I don't want to take any chances with a mishap.
You got it.
All right. So I guess my question at this point, who is going on the away team?
I'm thinking, and this isn't going to be too much of a diplomatic situation, so I'm thinking about leaving the XO here, and I'll assist the doc with any medical, and we bring as many engineering personnel over as we can.
Can I volunteer to have Mari head over as well?
You certainly can.
I think that'd be useful, mostly because her talents will be quite effective here because xenotechnology and such like that. She can check if it was actually a mishap or not.
Okay. The one thing I will say, Captain, as you start to, say, hey, I'll go over myself, Zava would speak up and say, sir, I do have to remind you of regulation that, especially in this kind of situation, that the captain should remain on the vessel.
Yes, I'm aware of that regulation. However, I may need my best negotiator here, and sadly, it's not me. It's the XO.
Very
I
well,
want him
sir.
on the horn if we needs to talk to somebody. Meanwhile, I want to make sure that we rescue as many people as can. Granted, they said there are 2 people up, but if we can save anybody, we need to make the effort.
Noted, sir. I just wanted to make sure that if anyone looks back on this, that my objections were noted.
No problem. Go ahead and put it in the log.
All right. So right now I have Havoc, I have Captain Williams. Who else is going?
Let's see here.
Doctor.
Okay.
The doctor with his
so
mobile emitter.
Galen's going. Who else?
And Doc, keep the emitter on the inside of your arm. If there is any aliens there, I do not want to see how the U are working. I can't afford to have you offline in any circumstance.
Unfortunately, the emitter has to be out for it to project.
Lovely.
Unless I'd be inside out.
Are we taking Galen 1.0 or 1.2 or 1.3 or all of them?
Well,
The
he only
emitter
has
can-
one emitter. I'm thinking he'd need an emitter per unit.
Yeah. Yeah, his little trick that he does is something he can only do in sickbay or really on the Adiona.
That's too bad.
Okay, so myself will take over Havoc, the doc, 1 engineer and 1 security, just in case something breaks out.
Okay.
I'll do a red shirt.
Okay. Actually, I was going to offer because I do want to make sure everybody has a token in this. Let's see. Zava would offer to go over as the security personnel. Iha would offer to go over as the security personnel. As far as the other red shirt is concerned, pretty much just whoever whatever character you want to bring over.
There's a security. Garrett Smith is a security guy, so if anyone is a supporting character, his sheet's already made up in there. So
What name was that?
it's I made him up. His last name is Smith, but
Grayson
Oh,
Smith,
your
I see
secondary. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, why don't we since we do want to make sure because Mayweather is his mic's working finally. Let's have Mayweather. Let's have you run Grayson.
Yeah, I'd like to stay on the ship. I got a crazy idea with this gravimetric eddy that I'm thinking about.
Nope, did not mean to put a grid on that map.
Yep. Need science on the sensors, so yep.
Okay. All right, let me see. All right, so Grayson is there, and who's the fifth then? I guess is the question.
Yeah, I thought we got that. So myself, Havoc, the Doc, Grayson says security, and then I need another engineer.
Okay. I believe we have several engineers statted.
Let somebody drive Doral. Junior Lieutenant Doral Cassell.
I'm free if you need somebody to drive him.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Let's have you run Doral. All right. Apparently, I never made his token, so just give me a couple seconds here to get his token ready for you.
Yeah, you can grab that image that he already has on his bio, right?
Yeah. I just in order to make the token, you have to drag the art over and set the settings, etc., etc. All right. I think I have all 5 of you ready to go. Any last minute things you want to do on your ship before you beam over? Like, do you want to take any special gear or things of that nature?
Yep. Me and the Doc are definitely going to have bug out bags on us.
Okay.
Let's see here. Of course, any engineering equipment that the chief engineer sees appropriate will be carried over. We are carrying over a set of pattern enhancers just to make things easier.
Okay. I'm double checking costs here. I will say, since you do have the 5 momentum, I am going to enforce the fact that pattern enhancers are a cost of 1. Let's see. I'll say the Doctor can take a med kit for free. Havoc and Cassell can take an engineering kit for free. As far as Smith is concerned, let's have, what is he, an ensign? He could technically take a Type 3 phaser, but that would be both a escalation and a opportunity cost.
Yeah, we're not Type 2s only. We're not in an active fight right now.
Okay.
Terrell, grab an engineering kit.
Yeah, I'm taking an engineering kit and hammer labeled hard reset.
Galen will not take a Type 2, he'll take a Type 1.
Okay.
That's just because of protocol. If he doesn't have to take one, he will not take a phaser.
That's fine.
Okay.
Does the captain want me to bring a dry quarter? Security usually doesn't, but sometimes they do to check for weapons and stuff like that. But we have 2 engineers and a doctor, so.
Oh, well,
yeah, they're going to be busy though.
is-
They're going to be busy with their own stuff. So yes, have security bring a tricorder, and engineers bring a power cell just in case we can't get main power online. We can at least power some of the systems.
Great idea. Okay.
Yeah, I'll take one.
Okay.
And I'm
that
assuming
would
there'll be a cost with that too.
Yeah, I would say that's going to be another momentum spent to bring a power cell. And the good news is that tricorders are standard on every away mission. Don't have to spend a single thing for them.
I will leave instructions for Nurse Carew just to get the sick bay ready and prepped, just in case we do any beam overs for injured.
Okay.
Okay, since we're probably going to leave one of the red shirts to control the teleporter, I make sure to give him a full rundown of what would happen if he messes up. Every single detail.
Oh dear. All right. Well, I think with no further ado, let's get this show on the road.
Well, one last comment for Merrick while he's on the bridge. He's
Sure.
going to begin very detailed studies of the node there. And keep an eye out for approaching ships and the status of the Toth ship if it changes. But I got a crazy idea floating with this gravimetric eddy. Perhaps it can be, you said it pulses. Perhaps it can be caused to pulse, thus blinding sensors, since sensors seem to have a problem with it for everybody.
But it could also mess with with us being sent from our ship to their ship and back.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. But if things go south, we might be able to use it. That's kind of the idea.
The more things in our Swiss Army knife, the better.
Last thing before we beam over is I see the captain coming into the transporter room, and I just look at him and I'm like, "Oh, Captain, were you demoted and change of command has occurred?"
This is a rescue mission. This is my bread and butter.
Well, make sure to keep an eye on you. Can't
And
lose
I'll give a
captain
little word
after all.
to the XO. XO, you have the ship. Buy us as much time as you can if things get heated, but don't hesitate to try to do emergency pullouts if you deem it to so fit.
Acknowledge, Captain.
All right. So I do actually want to have the transporting over be a roll. So whoever is doing the actual beaming, this will be a control engineering, and the ship will assist with sensors engineering. And because the destination is not on a transporter pad, this will be at a difficulty of 3.
Yeah, feel free to burn momentum. We're going to hit a scene change soon anyway.
Yeah. So I'll say for sake of argument, Havoc could potentially just set up a sort of delayed transport so that they could do the beam out themselves, or you can have a random red shirt do it.
I'm doing the initial teleport to the ship through a delayed, and the teleport back will be done by red shirt.
Got it. All right, so
That way.
Havoc, if you want to roll me control engineering, and if someone can roll the ship's sensors engineering. And you do have 3 momentum.
Do I get a bonus from my focuses?
What's your focus?
Well, I have warp fields. I'll name the ones that could possibly do it. Warp field, electroplasma power systems, experimental technology.
Yeah,
There-
you would need transporters specifically in this instance.
Yeah, there's one for
Alright.
transporters and replicators, I think.
How many dice do I get again at base?
Base 2 dice.
Mayweather, you got the ship again?
And I'm gonna.
I do.
Mind if I burn the 3 momentum we have left? Or how much? We lose all those on the scene change, right?
You will be losing 1 on scene change.
I'm gonna burn 2 just in case.
Well, it's 1 dice or 1 momentum for 1 extra dice, and it's 3 for 2 extra.
Then I'll just.
Yeah,
Take
burn it
one.
all, man. Let's not lose the captain on his first beam.
Yeah, so I'll be rolling 4d20, and I will be able to apply cautious engineering, which will give me free rerolls.
All right, very good. Let's have you do a roll. You already got an assist from the ship. I would recommend rerolling.
Oh
that 20.
yeah, rerolling the 0 for free.
The complication would be Galen. He transports and looking like Sean Connery.
Oh God.
So rolling 1d20 now.
Mm-hmm. All right, very good.
Yep.
So that 1, 2, 3. So you get 2 momentum back. All right, cool. All right, so Havoc, you
I got
set
what I
it
spent.
up. Yeah, you set it up for enough time for you to go from the console to the pad, and there's a shimmering blue light as you all dematerialize and rematerialize on the OCD. And I will now put us on this map. So just remind me if you're watching the stream and you know how to ping me. If I'm talking to someone that's not on the screen, just ping me and I'll try to move the map. But that's basically where you guys arrive on the ship. You arrive in what is essentially some sort of a lounge or a mess hall or basically an open sort of space where people can mingle. And you do kind of fill the space. The five of you are kind of up against the walls, up against furniture, things of that nature. And you do indeed see that the interior has some exposed conduits. Some of them are, in fact, sparking. But you do not currently see any other Frila in the immediate vicinity, at least for the moment.
All right. Interior. I'm assuming it's on life support lighting and everything else like that, or is it pitch dark?
It is on minimal lighting, and the lighting does flicker.
Okay, so I mean, like like the red lights indicating safe walkways to the exits and all that.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, let's deploy these with pattern enhancers first, and then as soon as that's done, engineers take off. Me, security, and the doc will start searching the ship for the personnel once that's done.
Okay. So, as you guys start to set up the transporter enhancers, from the cockpit, Seeker Nefel does kind of poke her head in and says, oh, hello. I wasn't expecting you so soon. Nice to meet you in person, Captain. And she extends a sort of a hesitant hand.
I'll walk up to her and greet her.
Okay. She says, it seems you brought along quite a number of people. I hope you have engineers and a doctor among you.
Yes, we'll speak of the devil. This is our Dr. Galen, and those are engineers, Havoc and Ensign Smith.
I just twirl my hammer in my hand.
Oh, and don't forget Cassell. My bad.
Yeah.
I would do a little head bow to her.
Okay.
Alrighty, so where does it hurt?
Well, hurts quite a bit. Where would you like to begin, I guess is the question.
Well, I'll have the doc make sure everybody's physically okay. Are any of your crew still casualties and not fatalities yet?
Yes, as I said, we have two that are in extremely critical condition. I mean, I have basic medical training, but not enough to do more than buy them some time.
Lead the way.
Very good. So she kind of points at the stairs that are right here, right next to where Havoc's token is. And she says, Galen, was it? Please follow me.
I do want to interrupt her and ask, where's the ship hurting the most?
That's going to be the gravitic drives. You're going to want to go past that there. So she points at the stairs where you see number 6. And she says you're going to want to go the first door immediately in front of you. So number 8. My younger sister, Apprentice Nysa, is in there. She's doing her best, but much like neither of us have really any good engineering experience.
I also am going to need to take a look at your navigational systems for that error you spoke of earlier.
Well, that would be up here in the cockpit, but please, whatever you'd like to work on, please feel free. But Doctor, please, this way.
Having that power core is yours. Use it as you see fit. Prioritize per standard Starfleet regulations for repairs.
So basically, make sure the ship doesn't explode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I follow the commander.
All right. So, we're going to put Galen and Nefel. We'll do them first. And I'll move the map a little bit. So
I'm basically acting as a second for the doc on this mission, so I'll be searching for the other personnel, at least start doing triage.
Oh, no, they would have all been taken to sickbay at this point.
Oh, okay, yeah, it actually has a full sickbay. Okay.
Yeah. So, you're up here now. All right, so, you guys walk up the stairs, go through a door, and find yourself in a fairly small sickbay. I mean, it's enough that it can hold, 10 people if need be, and Sure enough, it's holding quite a bit. The two beds, like similar to bio beds, but not quite. The Frila that are there are severely injured, even as just sort of a visual inspection. They are currently suffering from what appear to be massive burns, what could be broken bones, and things of that nature. So you're seeing a lot of bruising, a lot of burns, even occasionally spurs of bone that have broken through the skin. And Nefel says, these two here are the most critical. The others are over there. And she kind of points to the opposite side of the wall over here. And you see the other individuals, the four unconscious, as well as two forms that have been draped over with a blanket.
All right. As an interrupt, hit my comm badge and go, Adiona, this is the captain.
This is Morgan here, sir. Go ahead.
What's the quality of our connection? No interference or anything?
I could hear you loud and clear, Captain.
All right. Just keep an eye on us. Things are looking pretty ratty over here. We'll update you as we get more information. But right now, it looks like we got 4 casualties, 2 confirmed dead.
Gotcha. We'll make sure to keep a transporter lock on.
Roger. Williams out.
All right. So, I'm going to take a random stab in the dark here and guess that you're going to want to try and treat the critically wounded first.
Yeah. Are the critically wounded the ones with the bone sticking out of them?
Yeah.
I'll look to the captain and ask him for a osteo regenerator.
Yeah, and I'll give him one.
All right. So, we're going to handle this like an extended task. And I probably should back up and say, so the way this is all going to work, all this repair stuff is going to work, is that every single task, every single repair, whether that be of person or technology, is going to be an extended task. And every single roll you do for an extended task will count as 30 minutes of time. You can spend momentum. I believe it's 1 momentum to half that time to 15 minutes per attempt. But just be aware that every single attempt is 30 minutes. And we'll do it so that multiple people can be working at, different things at different times. But just be aware that there is some sort of time restraint here at play. So, we'll start off with treating the critically wounded. So this is going to be a default task of control and medicine. The magnitude of this extended task will be a 2. The work track will be a 12, and the difficulty will be a 2 as well. And of course, Doctor and Captain, you can assist each other. Just let me know who's doing the actual role and who's doing the assisting.
Yeah, Captain's not taking the lead on any of this with the doc here.
Okay.
All right. So I guess I'll start. So we're going to be repairing the bones first and getting them back inside of them.
Okay.
And then we're going to go for the more life-threatening stuff, because right now those punctures are just going to bleed out.
Alrighty. All right, go ahead and let's see your control and medicine.
Control and medicine. I want to use cautious medicine, just in case.
So you're spending a momentum?
Yes.
Okay.
If everyone's okay with that. And I have a xenobiology and surgery and anatomy as possible focuses.
I'll let it happen, yeah.
So 3 dice then.
Mm-hmm.
I love being a hologram. Yeah.
Right, will you give me the focus for my seer training?
I'll let it happen, yeah. So you already got the two successes you needed, so that's 2 momentum. All right, so
no help from the captain.
2 momentum for you guys. Nice. So, Galen, at this point, if you would now roll me a 2 + 5, your medicine, so 7 challenge dice, please. Very nice. So, as it so happens, Galen, you work on one while Williams works on another. And Galen, since this is literally your job, you're doing things a little bit faster, a little bit more efficient. And yeah, you are not only able to treat the emergent wounds, or not the emergency wounds, the worst wounds, words hard, on one of the Frila, you are able to stabilize one of them entirely. So it's just now one remaining that needs some help.
Okay. I'm going to take an osteogenic stimulator for the other one.
Alrighty. Alright, so roll me another task, and let's see what happens.
Control medicine.
Yep, same thing.
I will use a momentum for cautious.
Okay.
Same focus as apply.
Yep.
Alright.
Alright, and does the captain get you an assist? He does not. Alright, so hey, you get that momentum right back. Actually, you got a breakthrough, so that's down to difficulty 1, so you actually get 2 momentum.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, with your emergency training and literally what you were designed to do, you stabilize the 2 critically wounded Frila. They're not going to wake up anytime soon, but they're also not going to die randomly or because of their wounds.
I'm going to look through the other Frila that are injured and assess their injuries, and I'm going to hand a dermal regenerator to the captain and let him tend to the lighter wounds while I look over the ones that might be not so serious, but,
Okay.
making sure everyone's fine.
We'll say that, again, this would probably take, your stabilizing would have taken an hour at this point. So let's cut to another group and we'll come back to you guys.
Okay.
All right, so let's deal with Havoc and Cassell, and maybe Smith as well. So tell me what you guys are doing.
Well, I'm heading over to the apprentice to make sure that, well, the ship doesn't explode.
Okay.
Because that would be a very bad end to this mission.
Okay. Now you got to change it back to the mouse tool. The ruler is notorious for blocking people moving. So yeah, I'm assuming Cassell you're going with?
Yeah. Try it.
Actually, more mention for them to look at the computer system to make sure that the statement about having problems with their navigations is actually true. Because they could just straight up be lying to us.
Understood, but that might require power to the system.
This is true.
You do have 1 power cell at the moment.
Yeah, we're gonna fix up the engines then. Well, we're gonna fix up what the apprentice is working on right now, because that seems to be the most critically injured part of the ship.
Okay. Alrighty. Smith, what are you doing while the engineers are basically nerding out?
I guess I'll just hang out near the armory and I'll check to see if everything's stable in there and not going to explode, and if I have to, I'll use security to lock it down so it doesn't explode on us.
Very, very apt idea. All right. So, Havoc, you kind of open the door to what functions for engineering on this very small vessel. And, oh yeah, I gotta move it down. So, you kind of poke your head in and you see a Frila that looks very similar to Nefel because I am terrible and couldn't find art. But she kind of turns from
Maybe I'll draw something for you.
Oh, God. She turns and says, you must be the Starfleet officers that my sister was saying would arrive soon. Tell me, do you have any experience with gravitic drives?
I look at her and say, "I'm the chief engineer on my ship. I believe I can handle it."
Of course, you probably have more knowledge than I could ever hope to have on this matter. I do know that right now the safety systems of the drives are offline, and the drives themselves also need some work. But and of course, you know best. But it might be better if we did the safety systems first. I mean, we could skip it if you thought it wasn't worth the time. But
if that thing goes, I want the safety systems up to make sure it doesn't kill us all.
Very good. That would be this console over here. And she sort of motions towards a half torn apart console with wires and chips and all that sort of thing exposed.
I crack my knuckles on my one fully, fully flesh arm and start going to work.
Alrighty. So, repairing the safety systems is going to be a default task of insight and engineering. The magnitude will be a 2. The work will be an 8. And the difficulty will be a 2 as well. And since you have some assist with Cassell, they may, of course, assist you.
Yeah, I will, of course. Damage control is my skill.
Ah, well, there you go.
So my dice pool is 2, but I do have xenotechnology, which would give me a focus on this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so should I burn momentum on this? Out of character, just group question. Should I burn it?
I think you should burn 1 to reduce the time.
Yeah, can I do that?
Yeah, you certainly can do that.
So 2d20, focus, yes. Blah, blah, blah. All right, let's see how poorly this goes.
Okay. All right. Well, with
How many successes do we need?
Cassell's help, you do indeed get the 2 successes you needed. So Havoc, if you would now roll me 2 + 5, your engineering, so a total of 7 challenge dice as well. All right. I will say, if you want to spend another momentum for an additional work, you will complete this within 15 minutes, no problem.
Should I?
Do it.
Yeah.
Done.
Done.
Do it.
All right. So
Do it.
In a very masterful display of both knowledge and skill, Havoc and Cassell get to work, and yeah, it takes you all of 15 minutes to not only repair the safety systems and get them up and running, but to more or less ensure that the safety systems are not going to get knocked off the line again unless, some major damage is done. And, through all this, Nysa just kind of looks at this wide-eyed and says, it would have taken me hours to do that. How... Man, you Starfleet or something else.
Starfleet and regrettably not Starfleet, but yes, they definitely put some very good people on this crew.
Well, I guess at this point it just matters what you'd like to do next. We could work on the drives. We could.
I also want to throw a few questions at the apprentice.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Neither of them saw when she mentioned gravimetric drive. My face dropped like, what, singularity core?
Oh, God. Well, what are your questions for her? Let's handle those first.
All right. I begin asking her what exactly was she doing out here? Because, again, I wasn't on the bridge. They came down and grabbed me from engineering to start working on this.
Okay. Well, she says... The OCD, we were traveling along the neutral zone to our next survey point, and during a routine check, our navigator, Speo, unfortunately he's no longer with us, he realized that the ship went off course, and while the navigational systems showed that we were on course, a more detailed check proved that we were, in fact, inside the neutral zone, and before we could make the course correction and get the hell out of Dodge, the Toth vessel that you see out there appeared and opened fire on us. We were lucky enough to get a few good shots in on them, but we pretty much knocked each other out of the water about the same time. You probably... Well, I did hear that you had others with you, so I'm sure someone's treating the wounded, but just
we have our medic
my sister
up there.
Yeah,
yes, but I have another question for you.
Sure.
What feasibly would cause this problem?
You mean of the navigational system?
Yes.
Without actually looking at the systems themselves, I'm not sure. It could be anything from a simple fault to something much worse.
I give a quick glance to my comrade right next to me, just like an unstated, I'm going to start questioning this girl pretty hard. Look, since he's on the engineering staff, he'd immediately understand this girl's in for a lot of questions while I work.
Okay. I guess the question will then be, are you splitting off engineers to handle different repairs at the same time, or are you still going to be working on the same thing together?
I think for less important things, we'll split up, but for the most important, like actually just getting the ship stabilized, we're going to be working together on items.
Okay, so from an out of character perspective, right now you have to repair the gravitic drives. That's one extended task. You don't have to check the general ship systems to restore power to them, but a safety check may or may not be useful and may prevent any unexpected problems from cropping up. And then you also have to repair the main computer, which means you're looking at something about as difficult as the engines. So I guess it would be just those big three for you guys.
Yeah, I'm thinking power, maneuverability, and the sensor records to get back immediately to the Toth.
Okay. Oh, the one thing I forgot. Also, if you wanted to check out the navigational array, that's not an extended task, but it does have some tasks associated with it.
Is the information that we're seeking about it being off course there?
Yes, you would have to interface with the navigational array, but that said, in order to bring those records online, you're either going to have to turn back on the gravitic drives, or you're going to have to use your power cell.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I suggest that to Havoc. Havoc, do you want me to immediately go look at the deflector array?
Take a quick look at it. You need to know exactly what's going on.
Okay, I asked for, where is it?
You're going to want to go back out to where you were, and you're going to want to head towards the cockpit. It's the room right before the cockpit. So, number 2 on the map.
Okay, and Smith, try to assist Havoc.
I hand
sir.
Smith the hammer labeled hard reset. You know what to do with this, right?
I can't just use a phaser on setting 3?
No. Percussive maintenance is the ultimate fix.
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll start with Havoc again. So, what are you focusing on here in engineering?
All right, let's get the second task on the fixing the drives.
Okay. So the drives are a completely different repair. This is going to be control engineering. The magnitude will be a 3. The work track will be a 14. And the difficulty will be a 2.
Huzzah, having applicable focuses.
Mm-hmm. And out of curiosity, are you spending momentum to make this faster, or are you going to use the full 30 minutes kind of a thing?
I'm just going to go the full 30 minutes because my character's going to want to take some time to look over the actual systems of the ship, make sure that everything's functioning at tip-top shape.
Roger that. I guess
even though it's kind of blown to pieces.
No, I gotcha. I guess at this point, Smith, we just need to have you do an assist. Let's have you. Yep, there you go. And yeah, you guys get a momentum. Very nice. So, Havoc, if you would care to roll me 7 challenge dice again, and we'll see how you do. Nice.
Dice for the dice god.
Exactly. Let's see. All right, so 6 work done. So yeah, you achieve a breakthrough, which lowers the difficulty to 1. But the very first breakthrough is within 30 minutes time, you are able to restore partial power from the gravitic drives. They're not operating at 100%. They're just enough on to give some very basic power. So the lights stop flickering. You hear the engines begin to stir. And Nysa kind of looks over and says, looks like we've got minimal shields and impulse drive back.
Can we say part of the repair was me yelling at Smith to hit a certain panel with the hammer?
Of course, you may certainly do so.
I wasn't gonna hit the red button. I learned in Starfleet, don't stick anything in your mouth on a planet, and don't hit the red button.
That's not the red button, that's a panel. So, anything else we need to roll?
Well, you haven't completed the extended task yet.
True.
You are at 16 out of 14 work at the moment.
What?
So,
16 out of 14?
Mm-hmm. Or no, it's not 16. 6 out of 14. Sorry.
Yeah,
I was about to be like,
I thought he was done. So let's see.
uh,
He got 5 on the work track.
6 on the work track.
Yeah, you got 6 on the work track, but the resistance makes it effectively 4, correct? If
No,
not,
there
you
is
should
no
have gotten a
resistance
breakthrough
on
for that.
this.
Oh, there is no resistance on that. So
Nope.
he should have got a breakthrough with that roll, right?
No, he did, and that's why the difficulty went down to a 1.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So another control engineering roll?
Yeah, another control engineering roll from the both of you.
I recommend actually burning a momentum for the to use the effect that we got, so that way you can have a piercing effect on the work track.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Well, piercing wouldn't get you. I don't think it's piercing. I'll look as you guys do your roll.
Yeah, we're looking to remove the 2 resistance for the next roll.
No. There is no resistance on repairing the gravitic drives. There's resistance on something else, but not this extended task.
Oh, okay. I'm just reading it wrong.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You could. Okay. Yeah, piercing would be if it had.
I have made up
resistance,
for you.
but it does not. Okay, so we have a choice here. You can either say that you can give me some threat, or you can take a complication. Which would you rather prefer?
So my critical success does not cancel out that.
No, this is not Wrath and Glory, unfortunately.
Yeah, you have to buy those off.
Yeah. Oh, I guess you could spend the 2 momentum you just got to make that go away.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. So.
Do you want to do that, guys? Because I'd rather not have the gravitic drive explode on us.
The out of body captain has no problem with it.
Not unless we can convince him that a top boarding comes on, because I'm security. It's my complication. A top boarding party comes on, then I'd go for the threat then.
You hush.
All right. Well, you did succeed. So another.
You
7
hit the
challenge
wrong
dice.
thing with the hammer.
Yep.
Can't help it. I'm a GM, so GM's got to stick together.
No, I got you, man. I appreciate it.
All right, so rolling the 7 challenge dice.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I do have the chart in front of me. You may spend 1 momentum to reroll any number of challenge dice.
Should I? Again, players got to stick together, so group discussion. Should I actually burn momentum for this?
Dude, we're
It's
going
one
to be
and you
generating
get the-
momentum all over the place on this mission. Go for it.
Yeah, I'll burn momentum and reroll 1, 2, 3, 4
Four
of
is a
them.
lot.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. It's 1. So it's 1 to
4.
reroll any number, right?
Yep, 1 to reroll any number.
Yeah, and I got no effects on 4 of those rolls, so I'll just reroll those.
Okay. All right, so that is a total of 9, which I believe not only completes the work track, but does give you a benefit. All right, so again, narratively, Havoc, you once again show your technical acumen, and you have the gravitic drives spun up to speed. At this point, you kind of would, if this were a warp core, you would hear the low thumb as the lights go up and down the warp core. But here it's still a low hum, but it's different sounding than you're used to. As far as you're able to tell, though, you have restored full power to the OCD, It's just a matter of now making sure that certain systems are ready for it. You, of course, again, can skip said safety check, but it is kind of
We're not
recommended.
skipping the safety. I know the 5-foot pole rule.
All right. So, we'll say that takes, all said and done, that's going to take you a total of 1 hour and 30 minutes. So let's cut to Cassell, and then we'll do something on the ship, and then we'll come back to those in sickbay. So, Cassell, you are working on the navigational array, yes?
Yep, I walk in and do a quick tricorder scan to make sure the power's compatible.
Yeah. Yeah, you're more than able to hook up a the power cell to get it working again.
Okay, and he'll
let's
try to figure out how to bring it up. I just noticed he has untapped potential, so you're gonna have to remind us of that.
if you have, I think it's if you spend determination, you roll a challenge dice, and if it's an effect, I think you get it back.
That's veteran.
That's veteran. I'll have to look it up.
Give me a second, I'll look it up for you.
Oh, thank you. I'm pretty sure it's to do with determination. Which Cassell should... Yeah, I think he should have something. All right. So in order to take a look at this navigational array interface, I need you to roll me a Insight plus Engineering at difficulty 1. And I'm going to count this as a scene change, so you only have 1 momentum at the moment.
Okay. I'm debating to use a value or not. I haven't done this before. Is the value for his what's it called now?
His
Determination.
Yeah.
Yeah, for automatic successes, because I want to kill this thing.
Well, you certainly could do that. Your determination would give you 2 automatic successes. You would still have to roll 2 dice to see if you got complications or any momentum, but you would start off gaining 1 momentum for the 2 successes.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay.
So you said it was, remind me again, which skill?
Insight plus Engineering.
And I got that untapped potential for you when you're ready.
Yeah, go for it while he's rolling.
If he spends momentum while rolling a task, he can roll a challenge dice afterwards. If he gets an effect, he gets an extra momentum as a result.
Oh,
Okay, we'll use 1 momentum then.
okay.
And the determination. And I guess that's it, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I have a focus. That's the other thing I'm checking. He's got damage control efficiency, but all the rest of it seems to be traditional, power systems, warp field, that kind of stuff.
I would say damage control applies here.
Okay.
All right, so that is a total of 5 successes, which is 4 momentum. All right. So, go ahead and roll the challenge dice to see if you get to keep that momentum you spent.
Then it'd be 3 or 4.
No, just one challenge dice, and if you get an effect, that is a momentum back. No effect. So it is spent. All right, so remember, you can spend momentum to ask questions, but here's what you know from your initial inspection. You may not have, Cassell may not have intimate knowledge of how Frila navigational arrays work, but it's standard enough technology, even here in the Andromeda Galaxy, that you're able to immediately tell that something is very wrong with this array. It almost looks as if someone has very deliberately sabotaged it in some fashion. And I can tell you more if you spend momentum to ask questions, but that's what you get with your success so far.
Can I save that question until I contact somebody?
Sure.
Okay, I know the captain is busy here, might be in the presence of somebody, so I'm going to hail Adiona.
Okay.
Cassell to Adiona. Captain Morgan, or Commander Morgan, please respond.
Adiona here. What's up?
Commander, the captain is off with the doctor taking care of casualties and Havoc's bringing up systems and engineering. I am specifically looking at their navigational array. I've powered it up, but there do seem to be peculiarities here that I can't be certain of. I would like to try to set up some kind of transmission using a tricorder, perhaps, to you on Adiona so you could investigate this.
Out of character, how much time would you say has passed since the away team went to the vessel to render assistance?
Well, I actually do have a written down chart. So,
Yeah, I think the most we've advanced the time is 1 hour from the 2 medical checks.
well, yeah. So medical took an hour. Engineering took an hour and a half. So where this is in the timeline, this is probably about the hour mark.
And once you've had a chance to look at the data, Commander Morgan, you could then decide how to inform the captain or tell me to.
All right, I just wanted to, out of character, I just wanted to make sure what the general baseline was so we weren't annoying our neighbors
No, I
too
gotcha.
badly. But yeah, I have no problem setting up that two-way transmission.
Okay. So, we'll say that since you're at that high momentum, it'll go off without a hitch. You now have the data in front of you. And yeah, Merrick, you would be able to see it as Merrick rather than Cassell.
I guess I look at it. I'm not sure what I'm looking for at this point.
Well, that is the beauty of spending momentum to ask questions.
Okay, is the navigational error caused by some external type effect on the navigational array? You know what I mean, like the radiation,
Mm-hmm.
or is it something that was caused by somebody doing something in the ship?
Okay, well, spending a momentum to take you down to 3. You will, looking at this data, you're able to tell that this was actually a rather expertly done sabotage job. Instead of causing an outright failure, it just simply lengthened the scan cycle of the array. So that means that instead of checking almost constantly where it is in space, the system only checked its position once in a while. And because nothing was actually wrong, this went undetected.
As Merrick, I informed Commander Morgan, the appears that the sensor systems on the Frila ship were put into a slow response mode. It was not picking up proper navigational data. It appears to be perhaps sabotage.
Is there anybody on board that ship that necessarily has the skills and capability to sabotage their navigational array?
Cassell would pipe in and say, there are only 2 Frila on the vessel right now currently that are conscious. A few others are seriously injured, a couple dead.
Then, unfortunately,
If you wish, Commander, I could perhaps seek more information personally. I personally have a skill in Betazoid training.
I think that's wise. We only have, unfortunately, 2 suspects. And at the time, we need to determine what went wrong on board that vessel.
Okay. So Cassell will hail the captain, and Captain, I would like to talk to you at the beam down site, please.
Alrighty, doctor, you got things okay here?
I can handle things here, thank you.
Alrighty, on the way.
So you meet up in the little lounge area.
We bring you up to speed, Captain. Basically, what I found and what has been confirmed so far, and I let you know that I might be able to sense thoughts as you ask questions.
Okay. Since we're in a remote link with the Adiona, make sure that they get all the logs too, as far as the navigational logs.
Okay, so
So
I
we
want
can
this information in more than one spot, just in case something shady goes on. We have a record.
so are they able to download right now in Adiona from the navigational array?
I
If you
actually had an interrupt that is kind of important. So back on the bridge of the Adiona, Morgan, you're getting a hail from the Toth again.
Well, on screen.
So again, you see Commander Toss Bull, and they say, "It has been 1 hour, and we have detected a remote data link between your ship and the OCD. What have you found?"
Currently, we're investigating the possible subject of sabotage on board that vessel. It seems like it wasn't supposed to go into the neutral zone intentionally. And I fear it may be a ploy just to something far greater.
Sorry, had a jet fly overhead. You claim that this is a deliberate act, then.
I don't claim anything. We're still investigating, which is why we established a remote data link between our vessel and theirs. Once we're finished with our investigation, I'm sure we'll be happy to share the data with you.
You will either share the data right now in real time, or you will cease the data connection to the OCD.
I just motion to
Zava?
excuse me, sorry. Had a fire truck pass my house. Yeah, I motioned to Zava just to cut the comms really quickly.
Okay.
And if this two-way data connection is still active, I'm going to hail the away team and see, and wondering if they were listening to that.
We'll say, for sake of argument, they have not, so you would have to fill them in.
All right then. Well, I tell Zava notify the captain of our current thread and put the Toth back on screen.
All right, so she does that, and Captain, you get a transmission from Zava detailing what's going on, and Tosspool comes back on screen and says, "What is your decision, Adiona?"
I'll hail the Adiona real quick and say, go ahead and share the information. It's not secret.
Well, that was the same plan that I had myself.
Okay, cool. My bad. Sorry for stepping on your toes there, Exo.
No worries. But yeah, I was just gonna. But absolutely, the Adiona is absolutely in the perfect position to share this knowledge with you.
All right, so, you
Ca-
set up... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Kessel just say to the captain, the answer seemed to be here, sir. It's not from an external source.
All right. Smith, I'm going to pull you off engineering assistance for a moment. We're sweeping this entire ship. I want to make sure that every nook and cranny has been scanned with tricorders for life signs. There may be somebody hiding on this ship or something, because if this was sabotage and she's got a full accounting for her crew, somebody messed with this thing. Even the dead bodies. I want to confirm everything.
Start the sweep on this deck, sir, or do you want me to go up or below decks?
I was already upstairs. Actually, I'm going to go up to Apprentice Nisa and
Okay.
ask her if there's any other areas on the ship other than upstairs where the wounded were and this deck.
Well, downstairs is where our cargo bay is.
Alright. Smith, you're with me. We're going to sweep the cargo bay. I'll let everybody else be on tactical alert and have their phasers ready just in case. Continue with your work, but be ready for something. Keep your eyes peeled.
All right.
And I'll also notify the captain of her ship that we think somebody might be on board.
Okay. So Galen, you would hear this part of the conversation, and Nefel will say, "I will look for anything suspicious up here on this deck." And yeah.
see my note, GM?
In roll 20? I would say you are not detecting anything telepathically at the moment.
Okay, that's a good sign.
All right. Well, I guess my question is, so obviously Smith and the captain are going to go down to the cargo bay. What is, because this would be about the hour 30-minute mark. So what is Havoc doing, and what is Cassell doing? And I guess we'll also need to ask that same question of the doctor here in a second.
Is the ship maneuverable?
At the moment, the gravitic drives are back online. You have not actually reconnected the propulsion systems to the main computer. The main computer has not been repaired yet, so technically you've got power. You could manually move the ship or fire or, pretty much do everything, but it would have to be manual until you turned back on the main computer.
Commander Havoc, should we give the ship a push? At least get it floating in the right direction?
You think they wouldn't take that as a chance to shoot us out of the air? Well, out of space?
Adiona did not indicate any change in status of the Toth ship.
If I remember correctly, they also stated that if we do anything aside from give them the information and make sure the ship isn't stable, it's a declaration of war.
True. What do you want to do next?
I also don't know if the systems can handle it right now. I'm doing a scan to make sure. But if necessary, I could give it a push.
At least we should have the option.
Oh, we have the option. It's just, will the option cause hostilities? I'm not saying I'm afraid of the other people that we're against. It's just that do we really want to have to deal with this today?
Well,
Well,
as you say that, Nysa says, "Oh, if you excuse me, I'll go get to work on the cockpit systems." And she,
Hold it right there.
Okay.
I want to ask a few more questions before you leave.
You've asked a lot, but okay.
Well, I am making sure your ship runs again, so I think asking you a few more questions will be ample recompense for that.
Sure. What do you need?
I want to know, did anyone on this ship behave oddly before you found yourself in, here?
Not that I can think of. No.
Any computer anomalies?
Besides the navigational array, no. Everything was fine.
I scratch my chin a little bit. All right, this is really odd because usually something like this would go this
Can
poorly.
I go back to the navigational array, and would I find the reason for the delayed response now that I understand it better?
You could, but going back to it would involve some more tasks and thus more time. So it's up to
I'm
you.
gonna get the young Frilla go. That's the only questions I could think of because my character's just trying to figure out, was someone crazy on this ship?
Right. So, she goes to the cockpit to work on systems there. Yeah, what is Kessel doing then? Are you actually going to go back to the nav array and investigate it further? Maybe repair it? Or what you doing?
I suggest that to the commander, and should I go back to the array and see what I can find out, bring it fully up?
Did we lose Havoc?
Sorry, my sound cut out. What'd you say?
I asked you if I should go back to the navigational array and continue to bring it up fully so that, maybe the answer's there still and repair the system as well.
Go do that and keep an eye on our Frila friend. The answer she gave me don't really seem to add up with what happened to this ship. Something doesn't smell right, and it stinks most in the cockpit.
Question for Jim. The Frila with the doctor right now, that's the commander of the vessel?
Seeker Nefel, yes.
Yeah, and the captain mentioned the problem with the navigational array, or discovery, right, with her?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thanks.
All right. So, Cassell, you go back to look at the navigational array. We'll do the doctor and then a quick scene with the captain, and then we'll take our break. So, Galen, you actually have 30 minutes of time in which you could do something to catch up to everybody else. So, what are you going to do with that 30 minutes?
I'm just gonna be like scanning everyone for their injuries, determining what all happened to them and stuff like that. So like what caused the injuries, what's the best way to treat it, typical stuff like that.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a reason plus medicine. And the difficulty will only be a 1.
And xenobiology, anatomy.
Yeah, that would all apply.
Yeah.
All right, well, you get 2 momentum. Most of what you're seeing is that, how do I want to say this? The injuries you're seeing are consistent with blown out consoles, with being too close to the bulkheads, and with the ship get hit, things like concussions. But one thing you are going to note is that one of the dead bodies contains stab wounds.
Interesting. Defensive?
I would say you would have to spend a momentum to be sure.
I will spend a momentum to be sure.
Yes, in fact, these were defensive marks. There was some sign of resistance, maybe some sort of roughage on the palms of the hands, maybe actual cuts there. But it would be fairly obvious to you as a doctor that this person put up a struggle before they were stabbed and killed.
Okay. So I imagine I scanned everyone first and then gained the bodies, going over them, doing a quick autopsy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to look for DNA markers of the potential attacker under the nails. Typically, during attacks, people will fight.
Okay.
Thank you, CSI.
Yeah. I would say you can do that with guess we would call this a control medicine, difficulty 2.
Okay. You guys okay if I use a momentum for cautious?
Yep.
Do it.
Let's see. I think I only have one focus for this, which would just be xenobiology, because I'm looking for DNA.
All right.
So.
Well, there's the 2 you need. You were part of IHA's briefing on the Adiona, right?
Yep.
Then you're able to determine that this is Toth DNA.
Interesting.
And it is right about then. And we sort of cut to the captain as you and Smith head down to the cargo bay. So on a initial, look left, look right, everything looks clear. And Captain, you kind of step away a little bit from Smith, and all of a sudden, you feel the cold compress of something metallic being pressed against the back of your neck. And an unknown figure says, "Stay right where you are. We're going to have a discussion." And that's where we're going to take our break. So, gentlemen, if you could be back by no later than 9:50 p.m., so 10 minutes from now. All right.
Enough
And
for a quick
noodles.
sandwich.
All right, BRB myself.
Hey, one quick question: can we add music and like sound snippets to this thing?
Yeah, we can, but the problem is that some sounds are copyrighted. Like even some basic sounds get things taken down. I mean,
Oh yeah,
otherwise,
yeah.
yeah. Don't get me wrong.
If
I'd
no, I mean
love.
if I end up making stuff custom, we need commercial breaks and stuff.
Oh yeah. We just have to be sure that if we play any sound, it's something we own the rights to, and that way people can't like spam copyright trolls at us.
Well, yeah, of course.
But anyway, yeah, I will BRB.
All right, serious question for the NG in the front of the ship. Who's controlling Castle? I keep forgetting.
Merrick is.
Merrick. Is Merrick there or no? Silence speaks volumes. Already, he's not there.
I'm sorry. What was that?
I was asking to see if Merrick's there right now because I was gonna ask him to have his. Well, actually, his character does have a hard reset the hammer, but I was gonna tell him to keep that at the ready. My character doesn't know about the Toth inside the cargo bay, but she is suspicious as hell of Nessa.
Yeah, yeah. Who was it that was complimenting on Cassell's stuff?
Well, I'd asked if he did like with the tricorder just download stuff or do an actual scan because I was gonna, spout security protocols once he found there was sabotage.
No,
I
no.
was gonna.
I mean about the character itself. Didn't you say something about it?
Oh yeah, he had asked who was playing him, and I said it was Merrick. So
Oh, I love Cassell's value. Oh, that okay. That's what it is. I guess Merrick had appreciated Cassell's values or something.
I haven't looked at his sheet. So I was gonna, if we got to have a scene, I was gonna be that eager ensign and quote to you, security protocols about how we should check, if since we know it's sabotage, we should check for DNA and stuff like that for security. And I'm gonna put you on report if you get hurt, Captain.
Don't worry. We started the security suite the moment we figured out it was sabotage.
I'm pretty sure, as a good gold shirt, that it's not going to look good if I don't come out with some wounds or something, and the captain, doesn't get hurt.
Don't worry. All the reports have to go over my desk anyway. All right, potty time.
All right, well, I'm back for the stream and the recording at least. So, of course, I'd like to extend another personal thanks. Thank you to anyone either watching this live or on YouTube. I always love to see people have enjoyment with my games. It's kind of what I like as a GM. I like providing some entertainment to people. Do have to do a little bit of shilling if you don't mind. Just be aware that if you have Twitch Prime, you do get a free sub every month. For some stupid reason, you can't set it to auto renew. So if you have Twitch Prime with Amazon Prime, you again get the one free a month, and would love it if you use it on me. But I understand if not. Again, the other thing I'd like to say is sort of a reminder that I did at the top of the session. If you are interested in the Wrath and Glory campaign, there again are links on both Reddit. There's one on the 4chan thread. There is one on Twitter. There's even the game advertised in Roll20. So there's lots of different ways that will get you to the application. That said, that's all the sort of information I have, so I'm going to go ahead and unmute myself for everybody else. And I am back. I'm probably the only one, aren't I?
Nope.
Hey, Mayweather's here. Nice.
I'm here too.
Oh, looks like we've got some people in chat. How you doing, chat? Hopefully you're having a good time.
So where's this con you're going to?
PAX West, it is in Seattle.
Way over there.
Yep, literally cross country from where I am now.
You decide on a scenario already?
Yes, in fact. I won't spoil it in case anybody listening does plan to try and snag the game with me, but it's going to involve a Defiant class and something that a Defiant class doesn't normally want to deal with.
Are you going to try to do miniatures, or are you going to try to do it like a computer screen type thing?
I'm going to just try and do Theater of the Mind, but I'm probably going to take a miniature or two so that, the people at the table can have a little bit of assistance. But the great thing about Star Trek Adventures is we don't need maps and we don't need tokens. It's just something I do for our online games here because I think it helps provide a sort of, not a restrictive sort of imagination, but it does help with imagining, where you are and what things are looking like.
Yeah, backdrop.
Mm-hmm. Also,
Do
hello,
you
Messiah Side in chat. How you doing? Oh, sorry, Mayweather. Go ahead.
Do you prefer PAX West, or is it because it's like the original, or do you just, this is the one you could actually, take time and go to?
Little column A, little column B. I'm actually going with my Monday group. My Monday group has been together for, hell, I think it's been 5 or 6 years at this point. And we've been through 4th Ed D&D, we've been through 5th Ed D&D, we've been through Shadowrun, we've been through Rogue Trader. And we've done one of these con events before. They did PAX South. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to PAX South, but this is another, big group meetup where we're just gonna have fun at the con, do touristy stuff, do some in real life table topping, things of that nature.
And Klingon blood wine after.
Well, sangria, but same thing.
Yeah, the first time I ever heard of PAX was because they did D&D did the Knights, the guys who did Knights of the Dinner Table or whatever that the people who started PAX did D&D there, and I watched that, and that was the first time I ever heard of PAX. So
yeah, there's a few panels I'm looking forward to going to, and I do want to see Acquisition Inc. I think their C team is on the schedule. I forget where, but I'll look later. But yeah, I think it'll be a good time. Hopefully I'll meet some nice folks out there, and never know. Supposedly at one of the con games that was run by one of my group members when they did PAX South, they actually ran into one of the developers of the game they were running. So that was really neat.
one YouTuber I watch does video game reviews, and they're into Magic the Gathering, and they were talking about how they were practicing. They weren't doing videos for so long because they were practicing because they want to get in the tournament at PAX West. So that's going to be interesting to see what those videos that are going to pop up afterwards, not about actual video games, but about Magic the Gathering and being at a con and stuff like that. That'll be kind of fun too.
Yeah, it'll be an experience. All right, well, we are at our 10-minute mark. Is everybody back?
I am here.
Okay. I know Mayweather's here. I was literally just talking to him. Captain Havoc, Merrick, Commander.
Yes. Yep, I am here.
Okay.
I continue to exist.
Very good. Just need to hear from Havoc and Williams. Havoc, you're lighting up, but we're not.
Yeah, I'm
hearing
here.
anything. Okay. All right.
The captain has arrived.
The captain is here. All right, then let's un-BRB and get the show back on the road. So, reminder, as we come back from break, Captain Williams, you currently have some sort of serrated instrument pressed against the back of your neck. Smith, you have been ordered not to turn around, and same thing to the captain. But I would say, because I want to give this to Smith, Smith, you would have been able to very sneakily run a transport, or not a transporter, God, now I can't do words. A tricorder reading, and you would have been able to determine that it is a Toth behind Captain Williams at the moment. But yeah, the Toth has just said, we're going to have a talk, and that's where we drop back in.
Alrighty, I guess I'll do an intimidation on him. Say, are you trying to start an Illustilla war? Put your weapon down.
Doesn't respond, at least at first. There's probably about a period of 15, 30 seconds, very tense moments, and Toth says, it's always a good time for war.
So I guess we know why the ship drifted off its perceived heading. So what is it that you want, Toth?
Well, we want the data that this ship contains. We want everything about the border of Frila space.
What do you mean, everything about the border?
Well, the border's going to be shifting soon. We're going to be taking a few sectors of space.
Let's see here. You don't really want to test it. God damn it.
And just to throw Mayweather a bone, remember that you are the acting security officer, and even though you've been told not to turn around, you still could do things.
Captain, say the word.
Alrighty, so looks like we have a bit of a standoff here.
Toth, again, doesn't say anything for a little bit and says, you will transport me to my vessel, and I'll be taking one of you as a hostage.
Okay. Let's see. And I tell him, what's in it for us? The Federation, while we are allied, is not directly involved in your conflict. Are you sure you want to bring the Federation into it?
We know all about your Federation. You're literally a galaxy away. No help's coming for you.
And I want to make an intimidation check on him and let him know, like, this ship has so much visibility on it. If you so much as scratch it, you'll bring the entire forces of Starfleet through that wormhole, through that gate.
Okay. Presence command for sure. I think just because the Toth are naturally conflict ready and very warlike and xenophobic race, I'm gonna make it a difficulty 4 overall. Now, a reminder, you do have determination, you do have 2 momentum, and you could also give me threat for dice if you so wished.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to give you 2 threat, and I'm going to burn 1 momentum.
Okay.
as soon as I get back to my character sheet. You use diplomacy on this one?
Yep. Nice. So you get that momentum right back. And, alright, so the Toth kind of scoffs and goes, fine, I won't take one of you hostage, but you will beam me to my ship. And no, Merrick, you are not detecting the Toth.
Looks like you're still in a bit of a pickle. If you harm me, he shoots you. If you don't harm us, you still need our ship to get to your ship. So I think you really need to rethink your options here. Because just like how you like to be warlike, if we have to, we're not afraid of getting our hands dirty either. So you have a choice. You can either be calm and handle this diplomatically, or we cannot and see where this goes.
You know, it's funny. You think that you're in control here. You're not. I have the captain of Starfleet's only vessel in this entire galaxy at my disposal. I think I'm the one holding all the chips here.
Question for you, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
How much time has passed since I found Toth DNA?
5 minutes? Yeah, 5 minutes.
Alright. Would I have been able to do a scan on the ship?
You would, but again, just like the Adiona would not pick it up, your tricorder scan does not pick up any Toth life signs.
Okay.
So, is he behind the captain, or is it like on the screen where we're in this kind of triangle configuration? I mean, he's blocked and hidden, or
He is, if I had to describe it a little bit better, there's sort of these gaps in between crates. And the Toth is sort of in between two crates and has Williams, with Williams back towards the Toth. You are sort of, on instruction unless you did otherwise. You'd be looking away, but I think you'd have been able by this point to steal a glance or two, and it might be possible to either grapple the Toth or outright shoot them. But it would carry the risk of Williams being hurt in the process. So it's sort of a, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
is there a way I could possibly disarm the knife by not necessarily breaking his arm, but kicking his arm away from the captain's neck, at least temporarily enough for the captain to get out of the way?
I would say that would involve a melee attack, and you would get one chance at that, but then we would go into initiative order. So entirely up to you.
I believe in you.
It's my job, Captain, but you're the captain.
Yeah, don't believe in you. Believe in me who believes in you. Yep.
Yay, Gurren Lagann.
Yep.
Um,
Actually, I'm gonna give him the eye and the wink since he can't see my face,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to tumble backwards into him using my athletics as a focus.
Okay.
So in other words, I'm trying to roll on top of him like to fall and try to like as if I was gonna grab his legs from rolling backwards
Okay.
to try to throw him off balance to where we might be able to do something, but it'll be kind of close quarters.
All right. So, like I said, you'll each get a opportunity attack here, or the equivalent thereof. But after that, we're gonna be in initiative, and it will be the Toth's turn. So let's do the captain first. This would involve a daring plus security. Your focus would apply, and the difficulty is a 1, but the Toth do roll opposed. So if they get more successes than you, then they will win outright.
Yeah. So let's see here. I have bold security, so
So are you spending one of the 2 momentum for a dice? Or not momentum, threat?
all right. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to burn 1 threat and 2 momentum.
Okay. All right, so there goes the rest of your momentum.
Because I gotta make sure this guy at least gets on the ground or get the phaser away. Because I already know what my next action is, but I may not be able to do it if he's right there in my face. So okay. You said fitness security, right?
Yeah, no, daring security.
All right, with the focus. Oh, lovely.
All right, so that's 2 successes with a complication. That is 2 successes without a complication.
Yeah,
So here's what's going to happen. And don't worry, Smith's still going to get a turn, but Williams, as you attempt to fall back and maybe catch the Toth off guard, what happens is the Toth individual sort of, I guess, lets you fall back a little bit, but then comes around with his arm and almost headlocks you, and now holds the blade against your neck, the front of your neck, right, right under the chin. And it's now going to be a little bit harder for Smith to disarm or shoot the Toth without hurting you in the process, but it is still possible. So what's the play here, Smith?
Going to disarm him, and I'm assuming my hand-to-hand combat focus does apply?
Yes, it would. Yeah, sorry about that. Apparently, night ops have begun, so jets are flying overhead. Yes, it would apply.
You guys want me to spend some threat to disarm this guy?
go for it.
Any particular amount, you guys?
Oh god damn it! I suppose I should have been able to re-roll that. I actually spent threat because I had bold security.
Well,
darn it!
Yeah.
No,
that's
fine.
on me
fine.
too.
I'll take it on the chin, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, I should have noticed that myself. I do apologize. But what's done is done. So yeah, Smith, if you do want to go for a disarm, that is same kind of thing. Daring security, difficulty 1, and it is opposed. So if the Toth does get more successes than you, then they're gonna win out.
All right. I will spend 3 threat to get 2 more dice.
Okay. All right, so that is 3 successes. because I do have the threat to do so, I am going to spend some threat of my own to enable the Toth to roll 2 dice extra. That is 3 successes, but tie goes to the actor. So, Smith, you have an option here. You can either disarm and thus get the weapon out of play, or you may do some damage in an attempt to stun, incapacitate, etc., etc.
Disarm.
All right. So, Smith, you come in, and in a very, I guess you would call it graceful maneuver, you are able to grab hold of the wrist of the Toth and twist it. So, hold on. I hate the sneaky ones like that come out of nowhere. Anyway, you're able to grab the wrist and twist it enough that the Toth's grip is loosened, and then using your other hand, you wrench the blade free, toss it aside. Well, I don't know, would you keep the blade or would you toss it?
I would toss it.
Okay.
I'm not going to stab this guy if we're supposed to take him. I'm sure the captain wants to take him alive, so.
Okay. So you toss the blade out of reach so that no one can get it, and the captain is broken free of the grapple in the process. However...
You, sir, are on report, and you, Mr. Toth, no honorable deaths for you.
Alright, so we are going to go into initiative order, and it will be the Toth's turn first. So, the Toth, I guess I should describe a little bit about them now that you're able to see them. The Toth is wearing what appears to be a segmented black jumpsuit, and you see sort of glowing lines throughout the suit that would seem to indicate that this is powered in some way. And on the Toth's turn, what does he do? He decides to turn off the power to his suit, so the suit stops kind of glowing. Oh, hold on. So the suit stops glowing, and immediately both the Adiona, both the doctor, pretty much anyone who's keeping a sensor scan on the OCD is now going to see a Toth light sign. And it is at that point that, Morgan, you get a hail from the commander again.
Lovely. All right, put him through.
All right, so again, Tospel shows up on screen and says, "We want our operative back. You will transport them to us immediately."
I'm sorry, come again. Did you say your operative?
They just continue looking at you, but don't say anything.
Well, I'm going to press the issue. And I'm just going to say, if you're confirming that this is indeed your operative, you would have to necessarily admit that you were complicit in what's going on here.
More silence.
Is it possible for me to do an insight check?
Sure. This would be an insight plus con, and we'll make the difficulty here a 2.
I'm still trying to get used to this sheet, so a 2
No,
difficulty just means I'm rolling 2d20.
You start as a 2d20, and
Okay.
you need 2 successes as the difficulty.
And I don't think I have an applicable focus. Because this isn't necessarily a diplomatic situation, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah. I'm gonna take threat for that, and yeah, this is probably your first real encounter with a Toth, so you don't really know how to read them well. So it's hard to get a beat on, what they're after at this point. I mean, besides the obvious, anyway.
Alrighty then. Well, even if I can't necessarily read and they're not going to respond, I'm more inclined to get my people out of there than to return their operative.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to ask if we still have a transporter lock on the away team.
Since Zava would be on the bridge with you, she says, yes, sir, we do have a lock on the away team. However, they're not within the pattern enhancer's range. They would need to gather there. In addition, sir, we don't have any locks on any of the Frila life signs.
And is there an additional, unless I'm missing something, was there an additional life sign that we found?
The life sign that just popped up was the Toth operative.
I see. I gotcha. Well, in that case, I'm immediately going to ask my bridge crew for suggestions.
Zava says, well, I mean, we can hope that the way team can handle the Toth, and everything I'm seeing on sensors says that the OCD could potentially make a break for it.
We don't know the situation there, though, right? So, I mean, do we know that the Toth is right next to two individuals?
Yes, you would. You would know that they are next to both the captain and Ensign Smith.
Can Galen do something?
What would Galen like to do?
Galen to away team, please check in.
So yeah, how much time would I have to speak?
I would say it would take your minor action to respond, but you would still have your normal action.
Okay.
Lieutenant Kessel here, Doctor.
Yeah, my next communication needs to go to the ship, so.
Okay.
So I only get Kessel as a response?
I think you get Havoc, unless Havoc somehow blew up in the process.
I am not dead yet.
Alright. Alright. I'm going to then ask for Captain Williams, Ensign Smith. Please check in.
All right. And it is at that point, I do need to know who's going next. Is it going to be Smith or is it going to be Williams?
I can take the next action.
Okay. And remember, you get a minor action and then a regular action. So what is each of those going to be?
Yeah, the minor action is Captain the Adiona. Close in and wrap your shields around this thing. We're not letting this guy get away.
Okay, so that's your minor. What are you doing for your action?
I'm gonna shoot this dude.
Okay. Let me double check, because I believe readying an item is in fact a minor action. So let's check. Combat. I will apologize for this. Usually, if it's Starship combat, I'm good, but like hand-to-hand combat, I have just not done enough of in this system.
I'm just the opposite.
Let's see. So, yeah, if you want to draw a weapon, that is a minor. However, you can indeed spend a momentum, or in this case, give me threat, to take an additional minor action.
I'll let you have it.
Okay. So yes, that would give you the minor action to pull out your phaser, and you can indeed shoot the Toth.
Yep, standard setting is done anyway, so I'm not worried about killing him.
All right. This is going to be control security. The difficulty is a 2. And you know what? I'm actually going to spend some threat. I'm going to make the complication range an 18 to 20.
You would.
Gotta be a little bit evil.
Add a threat, because I want to make sure I can re-roll this.
Okay, sure.
No special skills for phasers.
No, you get the 2 you need. Though you can re-roll that 19, which would be a complication.
No change.
Well, it changed from a complication to just a failure.
Yep.
Okay. So I need you now to roll me your phaser type 2, I believe. Yeah, your phaser type 2's damage, which should be 3 plus your security, so 7 challenge dice.
Oh, the button doesn't work, does it?
Oh, no, you got to do it manually. Okay, I see a total of 7, which is actually enough after accounting for resistance. So you point blank pull out your phaser and just shoot this Toth individual, center mass. And much like a very hard gut punch, they reel over and fall backwards completely stunned. And combat is officially over. Well, at least this combat is.
That was fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, good old stun phaser, man.
So we cut to the Adiona, I guess. Do you cross into the neutral zone?
Waiting order, sir.
Well, considering, out of character, just meandering and saying my thought process out loud, considering that the Toth have basically just admitted to complicity in this situation, I don't necessarily have any qualms about entering the neutral zone. We'll deal with the ramifications down the road, but at the same time, we need to get the away team out of there. So, by all means, you heard the captain. Maneuver the ship and extend their shields around the vessel.
So do we have a secondary helm officer, or is it something that we can double up on?
You would have Mayweather, so no, I would think it would just be Mayweather.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I keep thinking he's over across the way.
No, he's playing Smith. All right, so what we're going to actually do is we're going to put us on the space combat page, which is slightly different than what I showed you before, but this is kind of, well, I was going to say there was a ship showing up, but I'll describe that in a moment. We'll say the Adiona is able to move 6 squares or 6 hexes, so you could get right next to the OCD if you so wished.
Before we continue, I'd also like to give an order, at least as commander, to at least prepare at least one of the fighter pilots.
Okay.
In case this turns into a hostile situation, I'd still like one at the ready, but I still want Zava on the bridge.
Okay. Noted. All right. So, last confirmation, you're going in, yeah?
That's correct.
All right, so you get to there. And
do you need me to roll anything?
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just asking if you needed me to roll anything.
Yes, in fact, because this is a helm action. Let me find that in the Starship Combat rules. This is going to be a control plus con. And the difficulty here is a 0, so free momentum, really. And the ship is assisting with engines plus con. And again, I'm going to apologize for the jets. They're really going gung-ho at the moment.
It's okay. I'm ex-Air Force. I like jets.
Don't worry about it. Fire trucks have been moving past my apartment all night, which has limited my participation.
I just did the ship, unfortunately.
All right, well, that complication could be interesting. Let's... Okay, so Mayweather, since it is your role, I will say you can spend the 2 momentum, well, 2 of the 3 momentum you just got to get rid of that complication. Yep. Did we lose Mayweather?
about Smith? Do we still have Smith?
Nope.
Did you guys hear me? I said it sounded good to spin the momentum, but
we
I
hear you
don't know if
now.
you're okay.
Yeah, okay. So, you guys have just one momentum. So, Mayweather, you begin to steer the Adiona in, and luckily, you remember the fact that gravimetric anomalies do have a gravity pull, but you're able to compensate for it. And right as the Adiona arrives and extends her shields, a Toth Seraph vessel, and you would have pretty much been told a Seraph is the equivalent of a light destroyer for the Toth, seemingly appears out of the background radiation, almost as if it was lying in wait this entire time. And we are going to jump into Starship Combat. And hopefully we can wrap this up pretty quickly. So we've got 40 minutes to do this. So let me add turns to everybody. Alright, so they are scale 3 as well. You guys have 6 players. Well, I take that back. You have Merrick, Morgan, and Zava. So that's 3 for the Adiona. And then the Osidi has 3 there as well. So I think that's right. And it is going to be the Adiona's turn first. Unless you would rather the Osidi go first.
Oh, by all means, I love to make the first move.
Okay, what are you doing?
Well, at first I'm going to necessarily ask our science officer still. Because I wasn't sure, was it out of character that you were asking if we could use the pulsar to our advantage?
Yeah, I was asking out of character, but I believe it is a possibility, but not if we want to transport. Is that correct, GM?
That is correct, yes.
Now, can we transport within our own shield bubble?
Within your own shield bubble, yes.
Okay, so Commander Morgan, as long as we have our shields extended over the Frila ship, we could use transporters, and I will try to get the node to pulse a large interference wave. Sound good?
It sounds good, but I was just also wondering. Oh, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. At least for the first turn for the Adiona, let's just close the distance.
Okay. Well, I mean, we started, I gave you a free movement before combat started, so you're already there.
Oh, okay. Then.
So what do we want to do first? Do we want to engage tractor beams, or do we want me to try to create interference like the enemy vessel is hiding in?
I'll try and engage a tractor beam first.
Okay.
That's probably Zava, I think.
Yeah, that's going to be Zava. Just so you know, tractor beam would count as your tactical action, and it would be a control security on Zava's part, assisted by the ship's structure plus security, and the difficulty would be a 2.
My browser's bugging out on me, so if somebody else could take care of that role, that'd be fantastic.
Also, apologies for the stream. I just now noticed that it was not properly shown for you guys. Hopefully it's fixed now. There you go.
What was Zava? I guess I'll do it real quick.
Zava would be control security, and the ship is again structure security.
Do we want to spend momentum?
Yeah, your ship's going to be
Absolutely.
testing left and right here in a minute, so why not?
Okay, one momentum in tactical systems for a focus.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so there's a success from the ship, and there is 2 successes from Zava. Good job, Zava. Alright, so yes, you are in fact able to lock on a tractor beam to the Osidi, and the Osidi will pretty much go wherever you go. However, that is your turn. At this point, it is going to go over to the Toth. And the Toth here, the bigger ship, is going to attempt to open fire on you all. And I did have the foresight to make a macro. Thank you, past me. It is going to attempt to open fire, and since you do have your shield extended, hitting either of you would drain your shields. But let's see what happens. Yes, it does get the 2 successes it needs for its disruptors. So let's do 5 challenge dice, vicious 1 worth of damage. So that is going to be a total of 8 dice before resistance. The Adiona is a scale 3 and has 3 resistance, as far as I remember. So that would be 5. I can math. No, that would be 4. And that is not enough to cause a breach, luckily for you guys. So, you lose 4 shield. And both the OCD and the Adiona kind of shake as Disruptor Fire kind of bounces off the shields.
Emergency engineering hologram on. Please restore shield power.
All right.
All right. Yeah, I'll take over him. Yeah, so I guess in engineering, the hologram kicks in and just simply states, please state the nature of the engineering emergency.
Shield power is being drained. Restore it.
And yeah, he'll go and restore.
All right, well, it is going to be the OCD's turn now, actually.
Yeah.
So those of you on the OCD, you would have either picked up the fact that you have a tractor beam on you, or you pretty much would have felt it. I mean, you would know in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, so I guess we're technically, the ship is still off as far as its systems. Power is available, but we haven't actually got the ship running yet, correct?
Correct. You have not pressed the shiny big red on button.
Well, it's gonna take a turn to maneuver in the ship during combat. So
Well, I say it's a small enough ship that you can literally run to the cockpit or run to engineering and push the button.
All right, cool.
Question: have I completed my scan of the systems?
No. So there will be some risk here.
And we're doing things manual because the computer core is
Risk.
off, right?
Yep.
Risk I'm willing to take. Slamming red button.
Okay. So the action is Havoc slamming red button, and the OCD comes to life. Now, just so that you know, because you do not have the main computer operational, all tasks the OCD does increase in difficulty by 1, and the complication range is now 17 to 20. Only for the OCD, though. But you could, conceivably, when it comes back around to you guys, you could very well just begin maneuvering with the Adiona at a range. Or you could shoot it at Toth. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
My question is, could we actually get the gravitational thing to screw over the Toth a little?
I would say you could, but that would have to be Merrick during the Adiona's turn.
And we could disengage with tractor on.
You can, yes.
All right,
If
so
you're,
our
if
priority
you're-
is basically to run this back and get a touchdown.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, for now, I guess I'll let the rest of the crew go up. I want to make sure that our guy is detained before I leave him.
Okay. Well, while you are all debating your current course of action, the Seraph vessel is going to actually close to right about here, and I'm going to spend some threat so that it can do an additional action, and it is going to attempt itself to lock a tractor beam on the OCD.
Through the shields.
Through the shields, yep. So they are doing it at a much greater difficulty, but it is still technically possible. Are any of those... No, none of those are crits. Alright, yeah, had one of those been a crit, they would have got it, but they only got 3 out of 4. So the tractor beam just sort of dances across the extended shields, but otherwise does not lock on to the OCD. And it is now the Adiona's turn.
Okay, I got one more question.
Mm-hmm.
If I cause the node there to pulse, does that interfere with warp drive?
Yes, it would.
Okay, so I give the option to the Commander Morgan. Commander Morgan, we could disengage, or I could pulse the node, or try.
Well, if it interrupts warp drive for them, it will also interrupt it for us. But however, I believe it's worth that risk in the current situation.
Okay, I'll make an effort for the node to pulse, basically.
Okay, so
I know that the enemy ship was hiding in its radiation, so I just want to have that be exaggerated.
Okay. I would say this is going to be a daring plus science, assisted by the ships. What should I have the ships do? Let's have the Adiona do engines plus science, because that's basically a deflector, more or less. And let's make the difficulty here spend some threat, make it a 4.
Is there sorry, is there a way Mayweather can assist? Because it says if the flight controller, you can substitute con for anything for engineering. So I'm thinking of helping him, screw up their engines even more.
I would say you could assist, but that would take your action for this entire round.
Any objections?
No, go ahead and assist.
Okay.
So I spend 1 momentum there.
Okay, so you're spending 1 momentum.
So daring and con for me, correct?
Yes, and you're only rolling 1 dice. Oh wow, that's a good daring science.
What's the ship rolling?
The ship is rolling engine science. Alright, so, hey, you guys get 2 momentum. Very good. So, narratively, what happens is Merrick, using a reconfigured deflector pulse, you transmit some extra energy, as I would flavor it, into the eddy, and the eddy does pulse as a result of this. And immediately, everybody's sensors is now increased in difficulty by 2 for the remainder of the round. So basically what that means is anything that involves sensors, whether it's mechanically in the system or if I think it uses sensors, it is at an increased difficulty of 2.
I'm hoping like targeting.
Yes, that would definitely include targeting. So that's the Adiona's turn. We come to the OCD. What is the OCD doing?
Let's see. No, we don't have a marker for what actions we have left, do we?
You basically have everything but internal systems open. I would put dots on it, but it's such a small token that, as you can see, it pretty much just blows up the token.
We don't care. We just need to know what we can do.
All right, well, there you go. That's the dots I have at the moment.
Okay. So
my real question is, can we get the hell out of Dodge in here and just retreat behind the line, where if the Toth try following us, they're going to bring the entire fleet of our friends down on their faces.
That's what I'm trying to get done. I don't want to fight. I want to get back across the line.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. And then on the bridge, I'm guessing I told the other captain we're trying to get out of here.
Right.
Let's try to maneuver back across the line.
All right, so unfortunately, the OCD is under tractor at the moment.
Yeah. So it'd have to be coordinated with the Adiona, or they got to break the lock.
Yep, and I would say if you want to do either of those things, you're going to have to spend 2 momentum for it to happen. Basically an advantage.
Yeah. So I don't have a problem with it. Anybody
Alright.
else have any objection to burning 2?
I got none.
Nope.
Okay.
All right,
Nope.
so we burn 2 to change the narrative, so that way we can maneuver.
All right, so which are you doing? Are you breaking the tractor, or are you having the Adiona basically turn around and fly back across the border?
Well, I'd like to bring us both. If the Adiona can do that, because I thought they spent their helm action already. So
I will say that Mayweather's task is going to be at an increased difficulty, but it can still be done.
Can Zava assist?
No, Zava cannot assist with this because this is a con action. This is not security involved.
Okay.
but the OCD should be able to assist, right?
In some capacity, yes.
Yeah. So if we do the have the Adiona do the maneuver and then have the CD do the assist roll for it, since we're basically just using both ships' engines to push like they were like in a towing line, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would work. So Mayweather, a very important role. I would say this is going to be. Well, let me ask the important question: are you going to be moving just across the border, which would be a thrusters, or no, it would be a maneuver, and that would get you 6 squares? Or are you going to spend a bit of power and attempt to move beyond the battlefield? Or are you going all the way to warp?
We can't go to warp because we just activated the navigation, that eddy, correct?
It is difficult to go to warp, but it is still technically possible.
Hopefully easier for us.
You want us out now or just barely out?
I'd
Go
say that's an
for it.
XO call.
Yep, that's a Morgan
Go.
call.
Go for it.
I want us to be on the border, but not completely out. I still want to monitor the situation in the region after which, and if the Toth pursue, then that's a whole different ball game. But we'll see if that happens.
Okay, so Picard maneuver or not? So short warp burst, or to get across, or full impulse?
He wants it short, I guess.
Yeah, I would say impulse in this case.
And as we do so, can we whip the Frila ship to the other side of us so that we're between it and the Toth?
Yeah, I mean that'll happen, but you do have to succeed on the helm task first. So
I got confidence in Mayweather.
yeah, so Mayweather, this is going to be a control plus con. The difficulty is going to be a 3. The Adiona will assist with engines plus con. And the OCD will assist. It will roll 1 dice. Anyone can do it. And just roll 1d20. And if it's below a 10, it will assist.
I'll handle that. I'll handle the assist roll.
Okay.
I'd like to spend the momentum for an extra die.
Okay.
And I got Adiona.
Alright, so unfortunately the OCD does not assist.
Oops.
Alright.
But it doesn't need to.
Yeah, so Mayweather does get what he needs to have happen. Alright, so that would be a total of 1 extra dice. You get the momentum right back. And yeah, narratively, Mayweather very expertly turns the Adiona around, and Zava works with him to put the OCD so that it's on the other side. And together, the 2 vessels very quickly abscond back across the border. So I'm going to just put you on the edge of it, but you are a little bit further away at this point. And as you do kind of fly across the border, the Toth Seraph comes to right up to here, just out of disruptor range. And you do get a hail, Commander Morgan.
On screen.
So you see a very unhappy Toth looking back at you, and the commander says, "We will not forget this, Starfleet. Your days in the Andromeda Galaxy are numbered." And then they cut comms, turn around, go back to their little scout vessel, establish a tractor beam on it, and then they fly away.
They abandoned their spy.
Well, that was lovely. If they didn't admit that they had an operative on board, I would have tried to be diplomatic.
I might have released them if they were willing to cooperate, but they just ran.
As soon as, at least in my mind and Morgan's mind, as soon as like they admitted fault in this situation, I'm just gonna get my people and go.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I was gonna try to schmooze some stuff. We still gotta hang out here.
All right. We'll cut back to. I don't know. Would you guys on the OCD have beam backed, or are you still chilling on the OCD?
Well, until the vessel skipper is satisfied with status. If anything else, we'd just be running in formation with them until they're fully underway.
Okay.
Toth is unconscious.
Yes, the Toth is stunned.
Yeah, we might induce him medically if we can to keep him that way if need be. Or there's a brig too, but I don't know what their tech is, so that could still be dangerous. Leave them alone in the brig.
Is the Toth a danger, the operative when they awake, as far as their suit or something?
We'll put us on this map for this. Iha kind of looks over and says, well, now that I'm seeing the suit they're wearing, that appears to be a Toth Mark III stealth suit. Basically masks vital signs and prevents a transporter lock or even a tricorder lock. But as far as I know, it just does that. It doesn't let you walk through force fields.
Rip it off him.
Yeah.
So-
I would say at this point, it just comes down to... I would say it maybe takes another hour at best to get the OCD back in flying condition. So it's just a matter of what you guys do either during that hour or after that hour.
Well, of course, there's documenting everything that happened on the ship before they went across the line to make sure we have a full accounting of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's making sure we get as much technical and sensor data on this suit because we're bound to run into them, and we need to find a vulnerability if need be. And then there's all the paperwork and reporting back to the Frila government so they know what happened here and let them know that they may have penetration of enemy spies in their ranks, so on and so forth, etc., etc.
Gotcha. Okay.
Lots of paperwork.
Lots of paperwork indeed. So I tell you what, I'm looking at the time, and I think this is actually probably a good place to stop. So let's go ahead and do that. So players, stick around for a little bit longer, but to anyone watching on Twitch or YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you had a good time, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.